Hello everybody, welcome to the OAG I'm Craig. Thank you very much for stopping by today. I've got a Kyosho Raider out on the bench. And the reason I've got a Kyosho Raider out on the bench is because it's time for me to start planning and thinking about hopping this particular RC up. Well, I say hopping this particular RC up. I might actually not do that. I might keep this one exactly as it is and build a brand new one. But I'm still trying to work out whether I've actually got all the parts I need or whether I'm some short. And I'm not going to know that until I sit down with the manual and a cup of tea and all of the boxes of various Raider parts that I've got and work out whether I've got enough bits and pieces to build what I need to build, or do I need to use this particular one as a donor car. Now, for those of you who have been watching the channel for some time, you'll know that I love the Kyosho Raider. I love it because I think it looks like a really rad buggy, and it reminds me of when I was a kid, because this was my first ever RC car. Not this particular one, but I do have my very, very first Raider tucked away somewhere nice and safe. This one is the one that I rebuilt. I built it from two donor cars, both of which were pretty rotten chassis actually, and I spent ages taking them all apart, stripping out the good parts within them. This body shell was one of those surviving good parts, although it has seen better days, but it's perfectly fine for a runner. I changed the wheels because the wheels were all shot, put some new tyres on the back. Those are the original tyres on the front because these staggers just are almost indestructible. And I built a really cool, really nice runner. Big bore shocks on the front and the back that seem to do the job, albeit the front ones, if I'm honest, are pretty useless. There's not a lot of movement in them, unfortunately. Probably need a little bit of adjusting. But the Raider is awesome, and it looks great, and it drives great. So what on earth am I planning on doing with it? So I've moved it overhead so I can show you exactly what we want to do with this thing. So let's get this out of the way for a second, and let's start getting up the bits and pieces that are super important in terms of this build. So the first thing I've got over here is some nice brand new spanky shocks to put on. And what I've gone with is the Kyosho Optima front and rear gold damper sets. Now these are from the re-release of the Optima. I believe they're from the Optima Turbo. And they look absolutely fantastic, don't they? So they're going to look great. These are actually too long to put on the Raider as standard. So what you need is you need something special to change the way the Raider is configured. And what I've got here is an awesome chassis plate. And if you look within here, I haven't opened it up yet, but also are some FRP shock mounts, both front and there's the rear in there, and they've got loads of adjustable places to mount the shocks. So the idea is the front and rear bulkhead bolt on, so the gearbox goes back here, the front goes at the front, the uprights go onto the front bulkhead, and you attach all the various hardware together, and you've got yourself a nice custom chassis plate from Factory Works. And it's a bit of a nod to the Californian Hot Trick. So there was a Raider that did this back in the day. Somebody designed a chassis plate, removed all of the plastic tub and front and back bulkheads, bolted on exactly what this kit does. It's very, very, very similar. What the guys at Factory Works have also done is created a steering crank that goes in instead of the current setup, which uses the tie rods either side of the servo. This one puts together a little bell crank set with some bearings and some pivots, and it creates a far better steering setup for the Raider. So the idea is this is moving it more in line with a modern buggy. Not truly modern, but certainly more modern for the era. To go with all that, I've got some of these almost ready to run wheels that I believe I got from Richard Lowe. He sent these over to me, no longer needed on a project that he had going on. So thanks, Richard, for giving these to the channel. They are going on this Raider build. You've been waiting for this for ages. We're finally getting to it. So Some new tyres will have to go on here, but the fronts, as already mentioned, are those indestructible front staggers. I've got to work out, I'm going to get some more rear tyres from the Riris to go on the back. That's something I haven't got, but if I need to, I can always use the tyres that we've currently got on the Raider. And in addition to all that, I've also got these, which are the original decal set from 1980 something, 1989 I think it was, that went on to the almost ready to run Raider. And I've got a repro body set that I'm going to put these decals onto and do it very much in a similar setup to what I had back on my original Raider, or an almost ready to run version of the original Raider. But the question is, have I got enough parts to build a brand new Raider out of all the spares that I've got? So many of you have seen this before, but just going through again, this was a load of Raider parts that I got from Tony's Tamiya Parts a couple of years back. He was selling all these off. A couple of original Raider gearboxes, all still bagged with all the metal pieces, the motor plates, and everything that you need inside. These gearboxes are pretty much bulletproof, so you don't tend to see them broken, but it's nice to have a couple of spares, which is great. Here we've got some of those original tyres, those bulletproof tyres that never get wrecked, in the original blister pack that they came in for the Raider, so they're pretty neat. The back here, I've got a brand new spanky Raider chassis tub. Now, I don't need that for this particular build, so that's going to stay in the box. And then in here was a whole host of other parts that are all still in their bags. I've got some upper arms, some more upper arms, the shaft set that's required, and another shaft set that's required. So 2 lots of upper arms, 2 lots of shaft set. But this was the reason that I really got it. A bag full of counter gears, pinion gear, but also a brand new, unopened, unused Raider differential. Those things are like hen's teeth. And I've got one in there that's brand spanky new. Again, will I put that in this model? Haven't decided yet. It all depends on whether I'm actually going to build something from all these spare parts, or am I going to just cave in and say, do you know what, I'm going to use what I've already got. I don't know yet. But not only have I got all this, I've also got some other parts. The problem with this sort of stuff is it never all goes back in the box again, does it? Some bearings. Looks like another set of those upper arms in the bag, just in case we happen to need them. We've got this lot here, which gives us some of the plastic parts, but more importantly, gives us the servo mounts, which I think are difficult to come by, but also some body posts in there as well. I think in there is another gearbox. This one's open, unfortunately, but in there is another brand new gearbox with some of the metal plate parts again as well. Then we start dipping in. Oh, there's some more stuff here. Another set of those shaft sets. So I've got 3 sets of both of those. Then we get into all the parts I pulled off the Raider that I took apart. So I've got a bumper that's actually not in too bad condition, really. Bit of road rash, but not too bad. I've got a rear gearbox with rear arms and rear uprights, which is quite neat. So that could just bolt straight onto that chassis if I needed to. I've got another gearbox there. This one has got diffs and gears inside it already, which all seem to be, if I remember from last look, all in pretty good nick. So yet again, that doesn't have all the arms, but it's quite a neat little gearbox. It's already set up, ready to go. We've got a front bulkhead with lower arms and uprights, all ready to go, all in reasonably good condition. I've got 2 chassis plates. Again, you know I don't need these, but if you think about it, I've got 3 gearboxes and 3 chassis plates. So, I can build quite a few Raiders if I wanted to. Not that I desperately need to. Another bumper. Again, not in bad condition at all. I've got some tyres that came off something in the back here. Now, I'm not entirely sure. Oh, they say cat on them. Are those Schumacher tyres, perhaps? I don't know. I've got two of those. I've got these small wheels there, but I'm not entirely sure what they've come off. I've got some more Raider front tyres. These were painted red. That came off one of the models. But again, look, those front tyres, these are a bit more worn, but still quite a bit of tread on those. For some reason, I've got some grasshopper tyres in there as well, by the looks of it. Oh no, Sand Super. Sorry, you can't see that, can you? Was that off the Scorpion? I think maybe, perhaps. I've got damper stay. I've got some sort of upright there. I've got part of the bulkhead at the front and some arms. An empty bag. Various internal plates and arms in here, which is the support braces. These tyres, I'm not entirely sure what those are. These wheels, sorry, I'm not entirely sure what those have come off. And then in these boxes, this one is full of original Raider friction dampers, but also we've got a set of gears and we've got a diff, but you can see that one's not quite in as good a condition as that brand spanky new one that I've got, but it's not bad. It'll do certainly for a runner. And that's what I've got to think about with some of this sort of stuff. I need to have parts I can use for running, but guess what's in there? Look at that. Another really nice, really mint condition Raider differential. Look at that. Absolutely spot on. Not a lot wrong with that. That's ready to go into something and be run. Another set of those Raider arms. Collecting those like they're going out of fashion. I've got an old brand new Raider manual speed controller. Andy Robinson sent me that. He pulled that out of a Raider that he had. It's got the little label. Look at that. Fantastic. That was to go on my my Raider, but in the end, I think I managed to get an old second-hand one. So I kept the one that was brand new in the bag and left it in there because I thought that's a bit of a, if I'm ever doing a shelfer, I've got parts to do something really, really nice if I wanted to. In here, we've got a few plastic parts. I've got a pinion, which I can't remember if that's for the Raider or not. More metal plastic parts in here. Dog bones and so on and so forth. Drive cups. Hexes. All looks very clean and very neat. Obviously, did a really good job of tidying all this up. There's some hex screws in there, which I don't think I'll use. And then in this one, there's a whole bunch of screws that came off of the various Raider sets that I built as well. So I've got most of the stuff that I think I need to assemble a new Raider kit. So the final thing you need if you're going to do some building is you need to refer back to a manual. This one was the one that my dad used to build my original Raider. He filed it away. I wish I kept it. He had a lever arch file with all this in and loads of spare part information as well. He's got sort of coffee stains on here from when he was building it at work and that sort of stuff. But I managed to get myself a nice shiny new one, just in case, anything had changed or there were some pages missing. So just flicking through this, I mean, these manuals are nowhere near as good as the Tamiya ones. First step, it tells you to build your friction shots. Then it tells you to assemble the uprights at the front. And the bit that I know I'm missing are these front pieces here. You see these funny little pivots at the front that allow you to attach the wheels to the front. I managed to find some of those, so I've got those pieces that I need. And now I've got these uprights, so I've definitely got the kingpins to go in there. We've got the bottom arms. We've got the top arms. We don't necessarily need to worry about bolting it to the front. I've definitely got the bumper. We've definitely got a motor. We've got the motor plate. We've got the gearbox. We've got all this. We've got the gears. We've got the gears to go inside. I've got some bearings. I've got the outdrives. That's not a problem. I've got the top of the gearbox. We've got a different plate to put on the top. I've got these arms. These are 5 arms. I've got those. That's not a problem. We've got the bottom pieces. I could change those to adjustable tie rods if I wanted to. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? To make them adjustable. Got the dog bones to go in the back. Plenty of those. We've got those new shocks to put on. I don't know if I'll need all that because we're attaching it to that FRP plate. I've got a servo. I've got the arms to go in there. That's not a problem. We don't need all that for the manual speed controller, which is good. And we don't need all that either. Got the wheels, and we've got bearings, and we've got nuts. And I've got a body shell. Do you know what? That's looking pretty good, isn't it? Some nice instructions about how to check the car over. A list of parts at the back of what you might need. So I don't need these adjustable rods because we've got the set to go on there, so that's fine. We've got some of the plastic parts. We've got the arms. We've got the shaft set. I think we're pretty much ready to go. Surprised actually how little parts there are on the Raider. It's a very, very simple set. In the option parts down here, it talks about a NiCad strap for the battery. Which actually would have been, let me grab a bundle, there's a whole bundle of these I've got, they all stick together because they've all got Velcro on. It would have been these things, which I've got a whole bunch of them there, which is great. You strap those around the battery, it stops it from sliding out. And we still use our NiCads to lose them all the time. The pressure shocks for the front and back, that's an adjustable oil shocks are on there as well. A racing clutch. Torque limiting clutch protects the motor in a stall. Is that talking about a slipper clutch? I didn't know they did one of those for the Raider. Let me know if that is something that is right there. Universal drive shafts on the rear. 2 pieces for the Rocky. Might be worth me trying to hunt some of those down. Talks about ball bearings, shock oils, different wheels, low profile tyre, very nice. Sponsor set, pinion gear, motor cover, and that's it. So the only cool stuff on there, it's got a tune-up guide on the back here. So there's those adjustable swing shafts there at the back. They're pretty cool. Talks about the bearings. There's the racing clutch. It's not a slipper. It's like some sort of funny little pinion. You see that? How cool's that? Replacing the pinion gear with a racing clutch. Anti-slipping torque limiter. Those are the wheels off of the Ultima. And then what's here? Oil-filled shocks. There they go. Smooth running. You can adjust to course conditions without taking time. And they do look actually very similar to the shocks I've picked up, which is pretty interesting as well. I got the ball bearings going in the gearbox back there. Very interesting. So the question is, can I find myself some universal swing shafts for the Rocky? And can I find myself a racing clutch? I doubt it, but we're going to have a look and see what we can find. So what do you reckon? Do you think I've got everything to hop up this to make it look a lot better and run a lot faster and be a bit more of a contender around the Orchard Raceway into the future? Or am I going to build another one, which I think I've got enough parts to do, and make it look completely different to this one, keep this one running as a standard one, and then build up that new one? Let me know in the comments what you think I should do. Thank you for watching along, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.